What are your thoughts on Ilia Topuria and Ilia Topuria as a fighter? How do you feel about just the overall fight?
É uma grande luta, ele é um grande lutador, mas eu não preciso provar mais nada pra ninguém de quem eu sou, o que eu já fiz dentro do cage. Essa luta chegou numa oportunidade gigantesca, eu vou nocautear esse cara, essa é real.
He's gonna knock this guy out.
Ilia posted a video of himself training and made fun of Charles by saying, "Don't forget to bring the pillow," as if Charles would be the one to fall asleep in the fight. That's fighting talk for sure. But Charles wasn't bothered at all. He answered back in an interview, saying that none of the trash talk matters. He believes only God knows what will happen on fight night, and he's sure he's going to be a real problem for Ilia. Charles reminded everyone that he has powerful punches and top-level jiu-jitsu. He said people have trash-talked him before, but in the end, it's his hand that gets raised after the fight. He's not worried about what anyone says outside the cage. All that matters is what happens on June 28th, when the two fighters finally meet. It's clear Charles is confident, experienced, and focused. This fight is going to be explosive because both men believe they are better than the other, and they'll have to prove it in the octagon.
You all know Ilia Topuria, undefeated, 16-0, vacated his featherweight title. And now he's moving up to lightweight. He will face former lightweight champion and number 2 ranked Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight title.
Ilia Topuria is no ordinary fighter. He's the kind of athlete who makes people stop and watch. Not long ago, he knocked out 2 of the greatest featherweight champions ever, Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Nobody had knocked them out in their entire careers before, and Ilia did it like it was easy. That's the kind of skill and power he brings. Now he feels like there's nothing left for him at featherweight, so he's moving up to the lightweight division to face Charles Oliveira. People are saying Ilia fights like he's on another level compared to everyone else. He's not just good at punching or kicking, he's good at everything. His striking, wrestling, submissions, and footwork all come together perfectly. On top of that, he's incredibly confident and works hard in the gym. When you put all that together, it makes a very dangerous fighter. It's rare to see someone rise this quickly and look so dominant. Fighters like Ilia don't come around often, and that's why so many fans are excited to see what he does next. If he beats Charles, he could be on his way to being one of the best fighters in the world.
We have an update on Ben Askren. This comes directly from Shale Sonnen. Ben Askren needs a lung transplant. He has a hole in one of his lungs. He is now in a Wisconsin hospital seeking treatment and trying to find a lung transplant.
Ben Askren, a former UFC fighter and Olympic wrestler, has been fighting something even tougher than anyone in the octagon: his health. A short while ago, it was reported that Ben was in the hospital with a serious case of pneumonia. Pneumonia is a dangerous lung infection that can make it hard to breathe. Things got so bad for Ben that doctors said he might need a lung transplant to survive. Fans and friends were very worried, but finally, there was some good news. Ben showed signs of getting better. He was able to open his eyes and even squeeze the hands of the people around him. This may not sound like much, but for someone in such serious condition, it's a big deal. His body is still very weak, but his spirit is strong. People close to him said he's fighting like a true champion. There's still a long road ahead, and Ben will need a lot of medical care. But for now, everyone is just relieved to see even a small improvement. His fans are sending prayers and messages of hope, and everyone wants to see Ben get better and stronger as soon as possible.
It's funny, people are saying, you just have a bunch of yes men around you. I'm like, if you watch round 1, 3, and 5 closely, no commentating, the #1 criteria as a judge is to judge for damage. Motherfucker got a bloody nose and got his head snapped back in round 1. Is that not damage compared to getting taken down and fucking kneed in the thigh?
Sean O'Malley is one of the most popular fighters in the UFC. He's colorful, confident, and always exciting to watch. But lately, things haven't gone his way. He fought Merab Dvalishvili twice and lost both times. The second loss happened at UFC 316, and fans started to wonder what Sean would do next. Sean recently went on a show and talked about how he's feeling. He said the second loss wasn't as hard as the first one. After the first fight, he had to get surgery right away, which made everything worse. But this time, he's still healthy. His body feels good, his family is healthy, and his mind is strong. He even had his newborn baby with him during the interview. Sean said that coming home to a happy, healthy family helps him deal with the loss. He also said that even though he doesn't have a set date yet, he's planning to fight again this year. He's taking a little time to relax and think about his next move. He might already have someone in mind to fight, but he's not saying who just yet. Fans are eager to see what's next for the Sugar Show.
All respect between you two warriors, though.
Man, we don't talk. We don't say anything to each other. The only time that we did have like an interaction, it was weird.
What do you mean weird?
I was in the PI. I say what's up to anybody. I'll say hi to anybody, you know, and then like,
Jamahal Hill is getting ready for a big fight against Khalil Roundtree Jr. It will take place in Baku, and both fighters are hungry for a win. Jamahal is trying to bounce back after a tough loss and prove he's still one of the top light heavyweights in the UFC. He says that Khalil is a dangerous opponent who never gives up. Jamahal respects him a lot, saying Khalil is always coming forward, swinging with power, and trying to win no matter what. That kind of heart makes Khalil hard to deal with. But Jamahal also says that Khalil has to go through him, and he doesn't plan on losing. On the other side, Khalil said this is his chance to prove that he deserves a title shot. He wants to put on a performance that makes people say, this guy needs to fight for the belt. Khalil has worked hard for years and believes his time is now. Even Alex Pereira, a UFC champion, gave his opinion. He thinks Khalil might have an edge in this fight. With all this talk, both fighters are clearly motivated. Fans can expect fireworks when they finally step into the cage.
BJ Penn needs to be checked on. So BJ Penn released a video recently claiming that his mother and brother were murdered by the government, who are tied to a man named Paul Abley, who was attempting to steal his family's fortune. Now he believes Paul's sister, Lorraine, has stolen his mother's identity and is pretending.
BJ Penn was once a UFC champion and one of the most respected fighters in the sport, but in recent weeks his name has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. He was arrested 4 times in just 2 weeks. The most serious issue involves his own mother, who filed a restraining order against him. She believes BJ is mentally unwell and even told the court that he might be suffering from something called Capgras delusion. That's a rare condition where someone thinks their loved ones have been replaced by imposters. BJ, however, doesn't believe he needs any help. He made a post online where he joked about how easy it is to pass a mental health test. He said you just have to avoid saying certain things and you'll be fine. BJ clearly doesn't think he's sick, but many people are very concerned. Mental health is serious, especially when someone is acting out or getting into trouble with the law. So far, the court hasn't said what will happen next. Fans are hoping BJ gets whatever help he needs, whether that's medical or legal, so he can stay safe and live a better life.
Mighty Mouse took on a guy who's 250. The guy was enormous. The guy was so much bigger than him, and he tapped him. Pretty wild that he's even willing to do this. In terms of like pure martial arts technique, I think the best expression of martial arts I've ever seen is Mighty Mouse.
Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson is no longer fighting in MMA, but he's still finding ways to stay active and prove he's one of the best martial artists in the world. Recently, he took part in a grappling match against a very famous YouTuber and boxer, KSI. The match didn't last long at all. In just 17 seconds, Mighty Mouse caught KSI and made him tap out. That's right, just 17 seconds. It showed that even though KSI is tough in the boxing ring, grappling is a completely different game. Mighty Mouse is a master of it. He's fast, smart, and always one step ahead. Even when KSI tried to move or defend, it didn't matter. Mighty Mouse already had a plan and locked in the submission before KSI knew what was happening. Fans were amazed, and it reminded everyone why Demetrius is one of the greatest fighters of all time. Whether it's MMA or grappling, his skills are just on another level. He may not be chasing UFC titles anymore, but he's still out there teaching lessons in combat sports.
Volkanovski is a legend, but he's done. And Max Holloway also. They are like good fighters like for a long time, but time is gone, you know. Fresh blood is here, so let me prove that I'm champion.
Movsar Evloev is a rising star in the UFC featherweight division. He's ranked number 4, and many believe he has what it takes to become a champion. One of those believers is Jorge Masvidal, a well-known UFC veteran. Jorge recently trained with Movsar and was blown away by how tough and non-stop he is. Jorge said they were wrestling, and even though Jorge is much bigger, Movsar kept coming at him over and over. By the end, Jorge's head felt like it was going to explode from the pressure. That's how intense Movsar is. He never stops moving, shooting for takedowns and controlling his opponent. Jorge said Movsar works harder than anyone else in the gym. He's not just talented, he's also one of the hardest workers. People have been talking about a possible fight between Movsar and Aaron Pico, but nothing is official yet. Still, fans are excited to see what's next. If Movsar keeps fighting the way he does, it won't be long before he gets his title shot. Jorge's praise just makes it even more clear. Movsar is someone to watch closely.
What's the hardest you've been hit?
This boxer, professional boxer named Bully Beck. He used to be undefeated, but he's like a silver medalist in the Olympics. He hit me so hard in the liver. I swear I felt it for like 3 hours later.
Oh my. Do you think though there's like an actual technique or art to getting that power, or just some?
There are also a few exciting UFC fight updates that fans should know about. First, Danny Silva is set to fight Kevin Vius on August 2nd at UFC Vegas 108. Silva is coming off a close win and is looking to keep his streak alive. Kevin Vius, on the other hand, had an impressive debut and wants to keep his momentum going too. This should be a fast-paced featherweight fight. Another exciting matchup is Michael Venom Page versus Jared Cannonier. That's set for UFC 319 in Chicago. Jared is ranked 7th at middleweight, while MVP is ranked 15th at welterweight. That means MVP is moving up in weight for this fight, which is a big challenge. Jared said he wants a ranked opponent and maybe even a title shot, so this fight could mean a lot for both men. These matchups are the kind of fights that could change careers. The UFC is always full of surprises, and these upcoming battles are proof that anything can happen. Fans should keep an eye out as these fighters prepare to put on a show.
Islam is ready. He's healthy. He's at 170.
He gonna be over his brother Habib, man. But Habib was smart though. He knew he couldn't handle guys at 170. Them arms was too short. He ain't fucking nobody. You know what I'm saying? He won't get to nobody, bro. You know what I'm saying? So much.
After a tough loss to Kamaru Usman, Joaquin Buckley found himself in the middle of a social media storm. Israel Adesanya, a former UFC champion, made fun of Buckley in a YouTube video. He joked that Buckley should just retire and even mocked his way of talking. Adesanya said he hated how Buckley acted, even though he admitted he doesn't use that word lightly. Buckley didn't stay quiet. He fired back with a post on social media, saying that Adesanya should be mad at the fighter who took his belt, not at him. Buckley also brought up where Adesanya is from and told him to stand on business. Some fans even suggested Buckley move up in weight and challenge Adesanya directly, and Buckley replied, "Not a bad idea." Despite the loss, Buckley got support from other fighters like Derek Brunson, who praised his effort and said he's excited to see what Buckley does next. Buckley had won 6 straight fights before losing to Usman, so one loss doesn't mean he's finished. He's got heart, talent, and now maybe a new rivalry with a former champion.
1 week out from a fight isn't time to introduce new stuff. Even 2 weeks out, it's a little hairy. So the sooner we can, in my opinion, like a week out, I'm not going to try working, leg lock defense that I've never done before.
Finally, there was big news out of the UFC this week. Brad Katona, a fighter with a unique history, has been released from the UFC roster. That's a big deal because Brad is the only person to ever win the Ultimate Fighter twice. He first won in season 27 as a featherweight, then later came back and won again at bantamweight in season 31. But despite those achievements, his UFC record was 4 wins and 5 losses. In his most recent fight at UFC 315, he lost to Begzad Al-Makan. After that, the UFC decided to let him go. So far, Brad hasn't said anything about the release, but fans are talking about it online. Some are surprised because winning the Ultimate Fighter twice is such a rare feat. Others understand that wins and losses matter most in the UFC. Either way, it's a reminder that nothing is guaranteed in this sport. Even fighters with historic accomplishments can be let go if they don't keep winning. Now the big question is, what's next for Brad Katona?